Welcome to Necessary Realness. I know that you guys have probably heard, or maybe some of you have not heard because you have a life and other things to do. But if you're hearing for the first time or you've already known, I am with child. So handsmade of me to say it that way. I've never seen that show. I don't know if that's a relevant reference. I feel so much better doing this show now that you all know that, because let me tell you, it has been challenging for me because the past few months have definitely been a little bit more nauseous. I've had a sick road, and I've been throwing up, and it hasn't been pleasant having to do all of these shows and use my brain and personality. I don't know where my AirPods are. Ugh, let me ask my baby daddy. They're in my pocket.
Great.
Okay, so for today's episode of Necessary Realness, we are going to do a Get Real with Morgan pregnancy edition. I'm going to go through a list of questions that the team came up with, and I'm going to answer them as honestly as possible. So yeah, it should be a good time. First question, what has been the hardest part so far? It's really just adapting to being pregnant in general and just not being able to eat the foods you want and not feeling great all the time. Definitely been very sick. Nausea is probably the worst feeling a human being can feel. Like, I'd rather have a headache for 3 weeks than feel nauseous. And it's kind of a combo. It's become a combo. So it's like a little nausea, it's a little headache. It's sort of like a 2-for-1 special. It's like a grand slam breakfast of fun. And like not being able to have a spicy tuna cut roll, extra spicy with no cucumbers. I want to die. It's like all I think about all day long. And for some reason, people are only posting photos of sushi and oysters on their Instagram. And I feel like it's directed at me. Anyway, that's been the hardest part for me. Oh, the hot molten lava. By the way, they're like, oh, you're going to throw up. Oh, you throw up out of both ends. Then your asshole starts to pucker and it looks like an inverted cauliflower. It gets a little hot. Earlier in my pregnancy, when I really wanted something, there was like a lot of Chinese food at one point, or there was a lot of Mexican food. Like, I can't even think about eating that anymore. Like just the idea of can't do it. Like eating something that I once thought was good, like now, I can't. Nope. Next question. Disgusting. I took 3 tests and I called Susan right away. I didn't even call my parents on speakerphone. I didn't even say get dad. And I said, well, I have some news. She goes, oh, what's wrong? I think she probably thought my nipples were online. There was more drama. Like, she basically was like, bitch, we've gone through the quota with you. Like, don't keep up in life. And I told her, I said, I have some news for you. I said, you're gonna be a grandmother. And she screamed like the earth's core shook. It was so loud. She was screaming. She was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a grandma. And my dad thought honestly something was wrong. It was a very enthusiastic response to answer your question. Oh, my mother thinks it's not necessary for me to have any sort of help. She goes, oh, we didn't have a hula. I said, it's a doula. So that's something that you should know first. We didn't have a hula, Herbert. I'm like, great. That was 100 years ago. Not 100, but like, please, things are different. Someone just asked me to be in their mom group. I mean, my reaction to having a girl, I said to Jordan, there is no point in having a gender reveal because I want to have a big one. If we can't have a big one, whatever, I guess we can just do our parents. That would be really nice. It would be a nice way for them to like all spend some time together. But it's not going to be surprising because I know 300% that it's a boy. So the only thing that could shock me is if it ends up being a girl, but that's not even going to happen because it's a boy. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And now I'm like, of course it's a girl. Like, are you kidding? I'm scared of her already. I'm very scared of her. Am I going to taste my own breast milk? I probably will do a little dab. I kind of feel like it's a rite of passage, like a little dabby on the hand and then a little, I already feel like it probably tastes like soy milk and moldy yogurt. Oh. So what's the scariest thing about becoming a mom? I mean, yeah, of course, the idea of becoming a mother scares me. I mean, the fact that I'm going to have to push out between 6 to 7 pounds. How big are those stitches? Like, is it going to be easy? My girlfriend just gave birth and she said she plopped out like a fish. I'm praying that's what happens to me. I'm obviously scared. I want there to be a smooth delivery. I don't want there to be any sort of complications. I mean, I'm scared to have, this is a big, I don't even have a tattoo. I didn't even get a rebellious piercing. I've really kind of walked the line. So it's the fact that I'm going to be now like responsible for someone else and I, haven't dealt with all of my own personal emotional trauma. It's a little daunting. Yeah, it's a little scary, but I think we'll be okay. We're fine. I'm doing double therapy sessions until she's here, just to work some extra things out. So obviously with everything going on with COVID-19, you are not allowed to bring your partner into any of your appointments. So we went to the first appointment, we had the ultrasound and we FaceTimed. And when I tell you the tears, they were streaming down his face. And I was like, yeah, we're just excited. Can you keep it together right now? I mean, he was emotional and I was like, what's that thing? Like, it's quite small. Are we sure this is not too early to be looking at it? But it was very sweet. And then fun fact, exclusive, we went to that doctor's appointment and then we had to pull over on Palm in the alley so I could projectile vomit for 14 times in a row. Poor thing had to keep it in too. He sat there and just like was such a trooper for me. I can't, I'm so sensitive to, moving on, what else? I'm gonna ask myself a question. What's been the hardest thing about getting dressed? I am in a very in-between stage where I don't have like a full bump, but I definitely have bloating and things are still fitting. And I'm trying to like buy dresses now because if you see a cute dress, you should buy it. But I'm like, I can't picture how big I'm gonna be. So I don't like my sizing. It's all just like odd. Like I don't know what to do. Don't tell anyone that. Oh my God, I have had my nursery rug for months and I was gonna do it with my baby boy, but now that she's a girl, it's still gonna work. It's gonna be very neutral with a pop of color, keeping it consistent with the E brand. It needs to be a calm space for her. That nursery, just wait. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how prepared do I think I am to be a mom? I don't ever think you can fully prepare for this. It's just something that happens when the baby's here and you just sort of adapt. I think women are very quick to adapt to whatever situation they're in. So I think once she's here, there's obviously going to be some prep before we're going to get everything ready. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll take to it like a duck to water. There is a brand new episode of Necessary Realness every Saturday, so make sure you what? Subscribe, okay? Did I say subscribe? Don't forget to do that, subscribe. And make sure you check out all of the other videos on the E! News YouTube channel because they are all fabulous.